Taiwan is a country. Period. No bullshit mental gymnastics are needed in order to convince yourself and others that it is not. Facts are facts, whether you like them or not. It has its own president, its own flag, its own currency, political system, military, language, borders, and passport, to name but a few. What are the most searched questions on Google about Taiwan? What are people around the world actually searching for on the internet when it comes to Taiwan? This is exactly what this video is about. Hey everybody, my name's Nathan and welcome to the channel.
Así que me gusta.
To try and get results which are not biased and not based on my own personal search history, I actually cleared my search history and I signed out of my Google account. I'm hoping that by doing this, the results will be more accurate and give you a general idea of what people are actually searching for on the internet in regards to Taiwan. So I typed in "is Taiwan" and then I let Google autofill and figure out what the results were. There are 10 of them, so I will have to make the answers to each of them quite quick and brief if I want to get through all of them in this video, which is exactly what I would like to do. The first one, and definitely not surprising at all, is Taiwan a country? This is a very hot button topic and quite a contentious issue, especially for little pinks, umaos, or Chinese nationalists and trolls. The short answer is yes. Taiwan is a country. Why is it a country though? Well, simply put, besides the fact that it falls into the most widely accepted definition of a country, as per most dictionaries, it also has a few other things going for it that make it a country. It has its own president, its own flag, its own currency, political system, military, language, borders, and passport, to name but a few. Taiwan is a country. Period. No bullshit mental gymnastics are needed in order to convince yourself and others that it is not. Facts are facts, whether you like them or not. Next, is Taiwan part of China? Well, this one is a little bit more ambiguous. Technically, there are two Chinas. There is the PRC, or what everybody colloquially calls China today, and then there is the ROC, more commonly known as Taiwan. So essentially, one might argue that there are two Chinas. If I go into the details now, this video is going to be way too long. But if you do a bit of research on the civil war in China, when the commies fought the nationalists, there is plenty of information about it online. I encourage you to do your own research and come to your own conclusions based on your own research. In my opinion, the answer is no. Taiwan is not part of the PRC, and it has never been part of the PRC. Next, is Taiwan chocolate? I'm not actually entirely sure what this means because grammatically this doesn't make sense. I can only assume that they probably mean, is there chocolate in Taiwan, or does Taiwan make its own chocolate? There is some decent chocolate in Taiwan that can be purchased at supermarkets and convenience stores, but overall there is not a great selection of very good chocolate in Taiwan, in my opinion. Cocoa can grow in Taiwan, but the climate is not all that suitable. There are better places to grow it. Besides the climate, there are many other challenges Taiwanese farmers face when growing cocoa in Taiwan. So the short answer would probably be yes. Taiwan does produce its own chocolate. Next, is Taiwan a developed country? Yes, yes, and yes. In fact, Taiwan is overdeveloped in many places. Over 70% of Taiwan's land area is mountainous and not all that suitable for building or living. Therefore, many developed areas are often sort of squashed together, and as a result, Taiwan has a very high population density. That's also why there are hardly any houses in Taiwan. Most people live in overpriced apartment buildings. Next, is Taiwan safe? It depends what you mean here. My first instinct is to say yes, Taiwan is very safe in regards to violent crime, theft, muggings, carjackings, and that sort of thing. But it's not so safe in regards to traffic fatalities, earthquakes, typhoons, and the like. So, stuff that can be mostly controlled by people and society, by and large, yes, it is safe. But things that are out of our control, like natural disasters, then I would say no, it's not very safe. Next, is Taiwan next? I'm assuming they mean, will there be a war between China and Taiwan like there is currently a war between Russia and Ukraine? Honestly, I have no idea. China has made it clear that they will invade if they feel it is necessary. On the other hand, an invasion of Taiwan would be a very, very costly endeavor, both financially and in terms of lives lost for China. I hope they never do, and I honestly just wish China could piss off and leave Taiwan alone. But they seem hell-bent on constantly provoking Taiwan, so I don't know if they will invade. I do think it is possible though. Next, is Taiwan a good place to live? Yes, Taiwan is a brilliant place to live, and in a nutshell, here's why. It's safe, it's beautiful, the locals are friendly, it's very convenient, the cost of living is affordable, except for buying property. It's exotic, it's exciting, it's awesome, it has amazing food, and the culture is absolutely amazing. Next, is Taiwan open for tourists now? When it comes to immigration issues, I don't want to give solid advice for a few reasons. First of all, the rules are constantly changing. So one day you might hear yes, no, like certain people that meet certain criteria can come in via certain channels, and then the next day they tweak it and it changes. So based on what I currently know, Taiwan's borders are not 100% open, and people cannot just sort of travel back and forth like they used to going back to maybe 2017 or 2018 before the virus started. So I'm not 100% sure about this one. I don't think Taiwan's borders and immigration policies are quite the same as they were pre-COVID. Most foreigners have to quarantine when they arrive in Taiwan. So the short answer here would be I'm not 100% sure. Google is your friend. Next, is Taiwan poor? No, not at all. Taiwan has a very low level of wealth inequality. It has a very high standard of living and is ranked 4th in the world in regards to net wealth. The homeless rate is also quite low. In 2019, there were an estimated 3,040 homeless people in Taiwan. That is remarkably low. In fact, it's less than 0.1% of the population. And based on what I see on a day-to-day basis, the average person in Taiwan seems to be quite comfortable and relatively wealthy. Of course, you're going to have people who are more wealthy, and you're going to have people who are less wealthy. That's just true for pretty much any country or society on Earth. But overall, I would say that people here seem quite well off. And the final question, is Taiwan worth visiting? Now, I think you already know what my answer on this is going to be. Yes, yes, and yes. I cannot emphasize this enough. Taiwan is 1000% worth visiting. Why is it worth visiting though? Well, it might be easier for me to show you why it's worth visiting rather than trying to convince you via other means.